So I like to use a model that I call the writing triangle. When your kids are young, they have the possibility of communicating fully and with detail in speech. By the time they are 5 years old, they are fluent native speakers in whatever language they were raised in. And that fluency is not matched by their handwriting skills. In fact, age 5, 6, 7, 8, that's when most kids are learning to read, and they're managing a pencil for the first time in their lives. During that period of time when they are learning to handwrite and read, their own imaginations and capacity for talking is just flourishing like the Renaissance era. Meanwhile, handwriting and spelling stuck in the Middle Ages, right? What we want to do then at the beginning of the writing life is recognize that original thought and the mechanics of writing are as far apart as they are ever going to be. Original thought is fluent, cogent, detailed, clever, funny, rich, interesting, fascinating at age 5. Mechanics, they are sparse, they are inaccurate, they are poorly executed, they can't remember how to spell. They don't know which way the D and the B go when they're filling out one of their pages of handwriting letters. The mechanics of writing then are at their very beginning. You know, when they first started talking, they were like ba 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 ba, ma 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 ma. That's how the mechanics are at 5, 6, 7, and 8 in writing. It's a bunch of little squiggles and letters that don't quite make sense. During the writing life then, it is important to separate these two, to prioritize the content and jot it down for your children, while simultaneously using someone else's writing, you teach the mechanics. So what we do in Brave Writer is we use living literature, that wonderful Charlotte Mason phrase, to teach the mechanics. So you might read a book with your kids, you know, you might read a poem to your children, and then you're going to handwrite it and let them trace over it. You might take a passage from Laura Ingalls Wilder and write that out, and then your child copies directly underneath. You're using someone else's words to teach the mechanics of writing. Meanwhile, on the other side, this original thought that's bubbling up through speech, you're grabbing a spare sheet of paper and jotting it down, and then reading it back at the dinner table. Now, at the base of the triangle then is a child between the ages of 5 and 8. Over time, as your child gets older, they are going to bring original thought and the mechanics of writing together until they reach 18, and they are now at the stage of writing proficiency. That means ready to go to college. So how do we get original thought and mechanics together so that they are functioning in the same human being simultaneously? Through parental involvement. You are the triangle. You could write that down. I am the triangle. You make up the distance from original thought to mechanics in a decreasing role over the lifespan of your child. Now, during the earliest years, you're doing all the transcribing. As your child gets older, you are partnering in new ways. Your child might write one sentence and you write one sentence. You might jot down their words and then they copy it. You might discover that your child is ready for you to just hand them a set of notes. Or maybe by high school, they're doing a draft and you are coming in afterwards to offer editorial changes. Your role will change throughout the writing life, but over time, your child will be able to type or handwrite their own thoughts. And by the time they leave for college, they'll be ready to do it all on their own. What kinds of writing activities do they do that combine original thought and bring the mechanics together? Writing projects that are developmentally scaled to where your child is in the writing process. And that's how Brave Writer divides up its products. We have products that focus on original thought, products that bring the mechanics out through using living literature, and then products that tie mechanics and thought together in a writing assignment, what we call writing projects.